Hi, and welcome back. This is your Everything Microsoft Cloud Architect, Rob Thomas. And today I'm going to cover Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Now, this is really, really cool to get into conditional access and kind of really talk about it. But before I get into it, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, and that is our software dudes at Enterprise Software Solution. These guys are great. I highly recommend you reach out to them for all of your Microsoft needs. If you're purchasing Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamics, Intune, Copilot, Azure, Microsoft SQL Server, or Windows Server, highly recommend to reach out to these guys. You can see all their trusted partners here. These are a really great group of people to get you up and running. So without further ado, let's jump into Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. All right, so today as we dive into Entra ID, formerly known as Azure Active Directory, and exploring one of its most powerful security features, which is conditional access, this is something great to keep your organization's data safe without making life harder for your users. Now, let's answer what is conditional access. And think of it as a security bouncer, right, for your digital resources. It's a Microsoft Zero Trust policy engine, which means it only lets users in if they meet a specific condition. It uses identity-driven signals to decide when and how users can access your apps and services. Now, it's basically a if-and statement. I mean, if a user's access to something like Microsoft 365, then they must complete an action like using multi-factor authentication, right? Simple, but powerful, right? And this is a really good demonstration. Signal, decision, right? Enforcement. At a high level to explain conditional access, right? Now, let's talk about how conditional access works, right? And it's broken down into 5 signals, right? So the first signal is going to be user and group membership. And we talked about creating users and groups in a previous video, right? It's also broken down in IP location. The next is device state. The next is application. And then finally, risk detection. Now, user and group membership, you can target policies to specific users or groups. IP location, it allows or blocks access for a specific region or a trusted IP address. A device state, which ensures only compliance and managed devices get access. And the next application, that is a different rule for different apps. For example, tighter security for financial apps. And then the last one, risk detection. This spots suspicious behavior and blocks risky sign-ins. So once conditional access reads these signals, it can either block access, the most restrictive option, or grant access with conditions like required MPF or device compliance or approved apps. So I hope that was really, really helpful to kind of really help you get an idea of how it works. And I want to give you some real world example, right? So how can you use conditional access in real life? So you can require MF, multi-factor authentication, for admin users, which is an extra security level for highly privileged accounts. And you noticed that in previous videos. It gets a little annoying when you have MFA already, the base level MFA already enabled. I showed you how to disable it, but I highly encourage you to not disable it. Make sure MFA is required for all admin users. Another thing you can do in a real life example is blocking legacy authentication. Stop outdated and insecure login methods. Another one is trusted location. Only allow logins from specific geographical regions. And then manage devices. Ensure only companies approved devices are can access sensitive apps, right? So I want to quickly just spend a minute or two just kind of showing you real life access. So this is, you're familiar with this because I showed this on previous videos, but quick recap. If you were logging in, you'll log into your Office 365 page, and then you get to the admin. And I mentioned you will click on this identity, and then that would take you to which is this section, right? You'll be pretty much on this overview page. Once you're on the overview page, you're going to go down to protection and then click the security center, right? And then this security center, and I can click it again. But this security center is going to get you to conditional access. Now, in previous videos, I mentioned about P1, P2, and the suite because it's a little grayed out, right? So if I click on here, you're going to see, because actually there's supposed to be a conditional access icon that's here, and you can see if I go back and I go down to my next slide, you can see like you would see conditional access right there, but you see it's actually gone. It's only security center because this is a P1 or P2. So if I'm paying for P1, I would get access to conditional access. So I'm paying for the service, I would access, and then I could see the icon right there, right? So it's not there because I'm using a free version, but I can see it here. I can go to security center and you can see here, and it's a lot of things are, just give it a second to come up. Then my computer is just a little slow, but you can see a lot of things here are grayed out. So I can't create a policy. But if I was to click on that policy creation, right, you would be able to see this page, right? And I mentioned, you can control access based off of location, right? Devices, right? And sign in, users and sign in. So if I was to say, I wanted to look at a device, include filter devices, and I clicked on that, you would see this page, and then you'll be able to see the devices, right? And so forth. Once I wanted to get the devices and I wanted to do something about it, I wanted to grant access. This is where I would click on, and this previous slide, like I click on this grant, controlled selection, right? And then you'll be able to see here, and then I'm able to, and I'll just make it a little smaller, and then I'll be able to see what I want to do with the access. Do I want to grant the access with limited privileges, specific things that they can see and access to, or do I want to block that access? So I hope this was helpful, right? Really explaining what Entra Conditional Access is, use cases of where you would use it in your everyday life, and how could it be beneficial to you, right? And to keep your organization data secure while letting your team stay productive, no more unnecessary roadblocks. Plus, it aligns perfectly with zero trust principle. Remember, I mentioned that. Verifying explicitly, use less privileges, and assumes breaches. So if you found this video to be helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for IT security tips, and drop me a comment with your conditional questions. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.